The views of the two managers, and both agree this match will not decide the title, but victory here for either St. Pat's or Dundalk would certainly leave the victors firmly in the driving seat with just 5 games to go. It's a massive contest in that context. A draw wouldn't be the worst result for Pats because of their superior goal difference to Dundalk, but this is a match that both sides want to win. There's a smashing atmosphere inside Richmond Park on the banks of the Kavanagh River. Dundalk sold their allocation of 1,200 in jig time, and they have been making plenty of noise since they arrived in Inchicore. Dundalk, a town which has been a hotbed of soccer down through the years. Well, St. Pat's bidding to regroup after their cup exit at the quarter-final stage to Shamrock Rovers last week. Since that defeat, the focus has all been geared towards this joust with Dundalk. Well, the defeat to the Hoops proved to be a costly one, not just in terms of their dreams of winning the cup, because it left them with real problems in the midfield sector. Former Dundalk player Greg Bulger was red carded, so he's suspended. Killian Brennan came through a fitness test last night, having hobbled off against Shamrock Rovers. He starts, but Shane McFall is ruled out. Anto Flood leads the line in place of Christy Fagan. Well, Dundalk have lost Chris Shields and Darren Meenan through suspension. Captain Stephen O'Donnell returns from a ban and slots into a midfield that includes the dynamic Richie Towell, who's been named Player of the Month for August. He was suffering from a virus during the week and didn't train for the early part of the week. Dane Massey is back at left back, with Mark Rossiter switching to right back in place of John Sullivan. And our match referee tonight is Tomás Connolly, who will be assisted by Alan Lynch and Michelle O'Neill. The fourth official is Derek Tomney. Cracking atmosphere, Pat Morley, inside Richmond Park for this meeting of the top two.
Absolutely marvellous, Adrian, and this is what League of Ireland's all about. I mean, you look at the fans that have travelled from Dundalk, the fans that are here from Pats tonight, the whole atmosphere, the ambience of the whole place, fireworks going off, flames going all over the place, and it's just fantastic. And, you know, it's a marvellous atmosphere for players to perform, and this is the night when, as a player, you want to perform.
Stephen Kenny was making the point in the build-up to this game that players must be focused and not get caught up in the occasion, but it is rather difficult because the atmosphere is absolutely red hot. Dundalk in their chain strip, that's Richie Towell in picture. He's been one of the finds of the season. Just a few months ago, he was playing junior football with Bluebell United, having returned from Celtic and a stint with Hibernian. Named the Player of the Month for August. And Killian Brennan, a big boost for St. Pat's and their supporters that he's been declared fit. How fit he is, time will tell, but it may well be something of a gamble as referee Tomás Connolly sounds the whistle, and away we go for this pretty meaty clash between the top two in the Airtricity League Premier Division. It's likely to be pretty helter-skelter, but both these sides like to get it down and play, and already there's a late challenge on Richie Towell, and the referee's whistle has sounded, and we've only played 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's a bit late. It looks like it was Daryl O'Brien came in a bit late. I mean, Richie Towell got on the ball. He wanted to get on it early, and he's knocked one over. And I think that Daryl O'Brien has just left his leg in a tiny bit late.
Daryl O'Brien with a getting to know you challenge early on. A free kick for Dundalk. And Stephen O'Donnell is going to leave it for Richie Towell to take. Towell was absolutely top drawer last week in the cup clash with Shelbourne at Tulka Park, scoring twice in the first half. Substituted at half-time because of a knock as a precaution, but his opening 45-minute salvo proved enough to win the man of the match on the night, despite playing just 45 minutes of football. But he's been that kind of form lately.
Well, again, there you go. He's just getting one back and letting Daryl Kavanagh know he's there as well. So the biggest thing tonight, Adrian, what Pats do really, really well at home is they press high up the pitch. I think that's what Liam Buckley's going to try and do, and it's just how Dundalk handle that.
Kenny Bryan hoists it high, just to test out Dane Massey, who gets there ahead of Conan Byrne. Byrne, who's been in fine goal-scoring form for St. Pat's, scoring 4 against Shamrock Rovers a few weeks back. Their top scorer with 13 in all competitions. And Conan Byrne with a chance to deliver the cross, but it's a poor one. And Dundalk mop up. Towell onto the ball, and once again a crunching challenge going in, this time from John Russell. And referee Tomás Connolly has been pretty busy sounding the whistle in the opening skirmishes here at Richmond Park.
And again, Adrian, this is a late tackle, and I mean, you see it. I mean, he's come in and he's not won the ball there, and again, that's two very, very late tackles on Towell, and you know he's getting the treatment early on. So obviously, Pats know he's the star man. They got to look at him, so they're trying to let him know. So with a bit of luck, the referee will get a hold of it and not lose total control. Stern
words from Tomás Connolly for John Russell. Free kick to Dundalk, which is taken by Andy Boyle, sweeping it out right to Gartland. Andy Boyle has had a tremendous season for Dundalk. So many of the Dundalk players, of course, discarded by other clubs, and Stephen Kenny has rebuilt the club. Oh, what a position they find themselves in, challenging for the league title. A league title they haven't secured since Dermot Keeley led them to the Holy Grail back in 1995. Mountney laying it back, and Pat's closing down quickly. Anto Flood tonight preferred in attack to Christy Fagan. Stephen Kenny, just in shot there a moment ago, has signed a contract extension which ties him to Oriel Park until the end of the 2015 season. I'm sure Dundalk supporters absolutely chuffed with that. Stephen O'Donnell laying it forward. Curtis Byrne, who scored from the halfway line in that game at Tulka Park last week. A Beckham-esque goal. Gartland on the charge forward, but straight to Ian Birmingham, who checks away from Mountney. Now Killian Brennan on for Russell, all the way back to Conor Kenna, who lives and works in Tala Hospital at the moment. John Russell now, the Galway man, advancing towards halfway. Conan Byrne on this near side, but through the middle is Daryl Kavanagh, easily dealt with by Dundalk. A frenetic pace early on, as you'd expect. Stephen O'Donnell back after his suspension, nipping in, and a chance here for Hoban to get on the end of it. Brendan Clark committed himself early on, made the decision to advance from goal, and it was a wise move as well from Clark.
Yeah, it's a good little piece played by Dundalk as well, though. I mean, knocked the ball over the top to try and isolate Hoban with Kenny Brown, but in fairness to Clark, he was well aware and got off his line to clear quickly.
Dane Massey, who started his career at Bray Wanderers with the throw-in flicked on by Stephen O'Donnell. Pat Hoban, what a revelation he's been since his move from Merview United. And Curtis Byrne with the effort. Always going to be against him in terms of the angle, but worth having a pop. Curtis Byrne having a lash at goal.
Absolutely. I mean, they're high in confidence. 8 wins, worth the strike. Unfortunately, a small bit off a target, but again, you can see technique is quite good. He's unlucky. He'll get the radar though.
Byrne's kick out towards the far side. It's Mountney from Bahola. He'll be hoping it's a big weekend for Mayo. And Dundalk pressing. This could be an opportunity. Hoban pulls away. He's in the middle. It's pulled back and it's put behind for a corner kick. John Russell amongst those getting back to defend that situation, but Pats are carved apart. Richie Towell driving inside the area, and the pullback, well, timely interception for Pats in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's brilliant by Richie Towell. I just think he delayed a bit too much because he was just waiting there. He was just listening. He's saying, put it to me and I'll stick it in the back of the net, but unfortunately, just a tiny delay, but great play again.
Frustration for Stephen Kenny, but a promising start here from Dundalk as the corner is swung in, but easily away by John Russell. Daryl Kavanagh unable to get control of the ball. Rossiter now lifting it forward for Dundalk. Towell onto the loose ball. Has Mountney in support. He was closed down quickly, and it's a Pats throw-in. And certainly Towell so far in this game has been a pretty central figure. Birmingham with the throw-in. Forrester now feeding it forward, and that's rather aimless from Forrester. O'Donnell looking for Curtis Byrne, but well read by Ger O'Brien. Now Conan Byrne lifting it forward, looking for the run of Anto Flood, who made his 50th Pats appearance as a sub against Shamrock Rovers last week. Gartland. And the ball fizzed forward, looking for Pat Hoban. Conor Kenna in close attention. Free kick awarded to Dundalk. Well, it's been a decent start from Dundalk.
It's very high intensity. I mean, they're working very, very hard, and you just want to get the ball moving, so they feel very, very confident.
Dane Massey checking away from Conan Byrne, and Massey with the effort. It's tame in the end, and Brendan Clark, who celebrated his 28th birthday on Tuesday, is down to gather.
Well, again, it's Massey. He's coming in on his wrong side, though. I mean, he's not really a right-legged player, and he's just hit the target. But what the great thing for Dundalk side of things is that already they've had shots on target, which is always good when you're trying to get into a game early.
Kavanagh's layoff for Killian Brennan. Now Forrester through the middle. Conan Byrne on this near side, closed down by Dane Massey. All he could do was help it on its way. Andy Boyle is there to tidy up for Dundalk. Looked like Curtis Byrne shipped a knock. Referee Tomas Connolly's certainly been busy so far in this game, keeping an eye on matters. Brian Gartland, player who's seen much service in this league, and most recently with Portadown, released by the Irish League Club. There's Curtis Byrne, and Ger O'Brien snapping at his heels to knock the ball out of play, but it will be a Dundalk throw-in. John Mountney making the run. Cut out by Ger O'Brien. Rolled back by Killian Brennan, and O'Brien gets it away as far as Bisto Flood, who was closed down by Richie Towell. A combination of Towell and Andy Boyle. Boyle away from Flood, sliding it forward, all a bit congested though, and Ger O'Brien nips in to win it back for the Saints. Kavanagh's layoff. It's worked wide left now for Pats and Birmingham. And Kavanagh dispossessed by Stephen O'Donnell. Very solid tackle from the Dundalk skipper.
It's great pressing by Dundalk, but the scary thing from the Pat side is Bisto Flood is coming so far back into his own half that when they're looking up for an out to get back up the park, he's down here, so it's leaving a no one up front.
Conan Byrne with the layoff. This is Bisto Flood. The game has been played at a frenetic pace. Mountney under pressure, and it's Flood who has it for St. Pat's. His attempt across is blocked down by Curtis Byrne. Dane Massey trying to get back. Still Flood inside the area. Manages to deliver a cross of sorts. But the ball had gone out, and it will be a goal kick, much to the annoyance and frustration of Flood, who felt he was jostled.
Yeah, I mean, he's done really, really well. I mean, he's a big lad and he's got great course control for a big lad. And I mean, that doesn't look out to me there again, by the way. And he's more dangerous when he's up there. What's very frustrating, he's so far back in the pitch in the first 5-10 minutes that he's no danger, and you preferred him wherever he was. But that didn't look out to me, by the way.
Well, Dundalk have won both of the 2 previous encounters this season, both by 2-1 scorelines. They came here in April, and Curtis Byrne was amongst the scorers then. And, well, they won 2-1 at Oriel Park as well in June. So you'd have to say Dundalk, in terms of this season, have had the Indian sign. Now, we see this, and Liam Buckley watches on. He won't want to lose key players early in this game. Forced to make changes against Shamrock Rovers early on last weekend. It was Andy Boyle who was rising with Flood. Well, he's been in the wars. There's always likely to be a pretty feisty night at Richmond Park, and so it's proved so far. So Stephen O'Donnell will do the necessary, as is the norm these days, and return possession to Brendan Clark, the Pats custodian. Closed down by Pat Hoban, sends it long. Flood underneath it with Andy Boyle. Boyle won that particular duel. Russell with the layoff. Gets the return of Forrester. Now Flood with his back to goal. Good trickery from Anto Flood. Got his shot in, but blocked away by the vigilant Gartland. Conor Kenna at the other end. Thought about the pass back, but thought otherwise. Killian Brennan. Pats really need to see him on the ball tonight. And on his game as well. Well tidied up by Rossiter. Hoban's layoff, and it's a neat layoff as well to release Richie Towell. Kenny Brown gets it back to Clark, who is quickly off his line to smash it away.
He's done a great job, hasn't he? When you look at what he's brought into the club and where they were, and what he has brought players-wise into the club. I mean, it's really lifted them when you see, 1,500 to 2,000 supporters coming down tonight. Marvellous achievement.
Well, they sold their allocation of some 1,200 pretty much within a matter of hours on Monday morning. Massive interest in Dundalk in this game, not surprisingly so. And they're making plenty of noise in Inchicore at the moment. And so far, Dundalk performing pretty admirably. Towell just lost his bearings at the crucial moment. Set forward by Forrester. O'Donnell is back there to mop up, and Cherry clears it away. Ger O'Brien. Forrester's layoff. Now Killian Brennan. Birmingham charging down the outside left channel, but Killian Brennan will have a pop at goal, and it's saved by Cherry. Perhaps bouncing awkwardly in front of the Dundalk goalkeeper. It was an easy routine save for Peter Cherry.
Yeah, but that's more like the Killian Brennan we know. I mean, he's taken it inside, he's gone straight for goal. I mean, it's a long shot and it's not going to be Cherry from there. But again, he's trying to just get his team back into this game, because first bit they've been out of it, really.
Well, the long clearance downfield just testing Pats defensively, and Birmingham elected to take no chances. Knocks the ball out of play. Mark Rossiter to take. One of 3 players in the Dundalk lineup who've won league medals. He won 2 at Bows. Stephen O'Donnell, a winner of a league medal at Bows, and also, of course, as well with Shamrock Rovers. And John Dillon, another player who has tasted league success, of course, with Sligo Rovers last season. Stephen O'Donnell. And Gartland playing it square now for Andy Boyle. Massey on this near side. This is Dane Massey. Apart from Bray, he also had a stint at Shamrock Rovers. Boyle. And O'Donnell. O'Donnell. Back to Brian Gartland. And Dundalk happy just to stroke it around at the moment. Hoban. Oh, that's careless from Dundalk. They paid the price for that, and Flood could be in, but Boyle is across to cover. What a great intervention that was by Andy Boyle. It was really sloppy from Dundalk, and they almost paid the price for that slackness defensively.
Yeah, but again, you got to give credit to Daryl Kavanagh as well. He was sort of sniffing around like a little sniper in the grass, and he saw the mistake and he went after it. But again, as you say, Adrian, they were playing lovely football. Just need to be a bit careful.
Dane Massey getting there ahead of Conan Byrne. And the Boyle lashed out a play on the far side. Well, Liam Buckley bidding to win the title with Pats. This led them to their last title back in 1999. And they've led for so much of this campaign. They now have Dundalk snapping on their heels, albeit Pats have a pretty significant superior goal difference at the moment as things stand, which arguably is worth a point to them. It's all about winning matches at this late stage in the campaign.
Unfortunately, I remember the 99 one, Adrian.
I didn't want to remind you, Pat.
Thanks, Adrian. I did. Was it that long ago?
Does it feel that long ago, does it? Daryl Kavanagh spinning away and setting it up for John Russell. Thought about having a crack. Closed down by Mountney, who got the block on it. Ger O'Brien just got a little shoulder for his troubles from Curtis Byrne. Massey gets it away, but only as far as Killian Brennan. Brennan again. Now Ger O'Brien. O'Brien with the left-footed cross. And headed away by Andy Boyle. And the Pats fans on this near side, the Camac side of Richmond Park, a little more encouraged by that from their favourite team, Hoban. The referee's whistle though has sounded. Free kick awarded to Pats.
A lot better by Pats the last 2 or 3 minutes. They started up with a bit because, I mean, obviously they were struggling. I mean, you'll see Hoban, he's just putting his hands around. And it's just a silly free kick. No need to do it there. No need at all. But Pats have lifted the game a tiny bit, and a lot of it has been inspired by Kavanagh with his little challenge that have just lifted him a bit.
Well, it's Killian Brennan and Conan Byrne over the dead ball. Kenny Brown and Conor Kenna, the big 2 central defenders, have advanced for this set piece. And it's headed away and it'll be kept in play by John Dillon. And Dillon, the Liverpudlian, sends it long once on the books of Everton. And valued at £250,000 at one point in his career. Forward from Byrne. Forrester to take on Massey, and Massey stood his ground. Ger O'Brien with the throw in for Anto Flood. Being hustled and harried by Andy Boyle, and Flood goes to ground, and it's going to be a free kick. Tomas Connolly right on the scene. Obstruction. The offence, and there's a yellow card as well for Dane Massey. First yellow of the game goes to Massey. And Tomas Connolly has, well, held his counsel, kept his patience so far, but this challenge earns the first yellow.
I'd be very honest with you there, Adrian. I think that's quite harsh because I think Massey has. I don't think he's touched him. I might be totally wrong, but I just don't think he's touched him, and I think that's a very harsh decision. And I think if we get a chance to look back at that again, I think after this free kick, if something comes out of this, it could be a crucial turning point.
Conan Byrne and Killian Brennan over the free kick. Now can Pats get some reward here? Dundalk organising themselves defensively. Fizzed in by Killian Brennan. Ger O'Brien to send it back in. Angles it towards the edge of the area. There's a clumsy challenge. And that's a careless free coughed up here by Dundalk. Gartland just having a word with the referee. And Daryl Kavanagh is the man sinned against.
And that's just totally silly then. I mean, the ball has come in. Kavanagh is not a big lad, but he holds his ground very, very well. And Gartland's just come over the top of him. And unless he's going to win that ball there cleanly, he's going to always play in a dangerous area. And this is Killian Brennan territory.
Absolutely. He thrives on this kind of scenario. Conan Byrne is there as well. He may fancy a crack, but you'd feel that given the way he can strike them, Killian Brennan will take on the responsibility here. Scored a tremendous goal from this kind of range against Derry City a few weeks ago. Dundalk organised the wall. It is Brennan up and over the wall. Not a bad effort, but rather central and straight down the throat of Peter Cherry.
Hit the target. Not a bad free kick, but Cherry has it covered all the time, and I mean that's just good goalkeeping, good positioning, and comfortable. And it's good to see your keeper taking positions like that in the goal.
Hoban trying to flick it on. Massey with the throw in. Stephen O'Donnell made himself available. Curtis Burns layoff. Straight to Killian Brennan. This a better spell now for St. Patrick's Athletic. Lifted forward, looking for Daryl Kavanagh, but it's a disappointing one. Now let's see the yellow card incident once again, Pat.
Flood has done really, really well. I mean, he's taken inside. No, there's nothing there. You can see it. I mean, that's not a yellow card. I mean, it's a yellow card the other way, and you just hope that doesn't come back to haunt Dane Massey the rest of the game. To me, not a card. Free kick out the other way, and a card Anto Flood. Unfortunate.
So Dane Massey walking the yellow card tightrope now. Forward from Killian Brennan. Daryl Kavanagh for Flood. All very tight at the moment. John Dillon does well to create some space and lift it forward for the run of Pat Hoban, who's been tracked all the way by Conor Kenna. Hoban will have to go it alone and try and hold it up. Support arriving in the shape of John Dillon now. Dillon loves to take on an opponent. Well, there's run into real trouble here in the shape of Ian Birmingham. And Birmingham performing very impressively on that occasion to deal with the threat. Big night for Ian Birmingham, making his 150th appearance for St. Pat's at left back. And Conor Kenna is hot on his heels. Tonight he's making his 145th appearance in the colours of St. Patrick's Athletic. Massey with the angle ball. Free kick awarded for the challenge on John Mountney. Well, no, says the referee. It's certainly the assistant on the far side, Alan Lynch, signalled. And now eventually Dundalk get the nod from the referee.
I'm glad you laughed. I mean, you'll see it again. I mean, there's a handball, but before that, I mean, the linesman was flagging furiously. I mean, and it looked like it was a free kick as well, and he didn't give it. But in the end, they got it, Adrian.
Well, the Dundalk supporters have found their voices once again. Andy Boyle amongst those in there. John Dillon prepared and ready. And the header goalwards from Hoban, not quite finding the range. He had to try and angle his header.
Again, it's a great ball in the box. I mean, you know, you see Dillon's ball, it's a bit of pace. Hoban's got away from his marker and he just hasn't got his head on it at all. I mean, it's a difficult header for him. But the scary thing about it is Conor Kenna's just left him go and he's just given him a half a yard. And a striker in form, you do not give a half a yard to.
Well, certainly Pat Hoban has been in tremendous form since his move from Merview United. He's banged in 12 goals so far for Dundalk, but here's a chance for Conan Byrne. Gartland sliding in. Tremendous challenge by Gartland. Still there though for Conan Byrne. Trying to get away from Dane Massey. Got a lot on it. And Cherry was at full stretch there. The ball goes behind. And it will be a goal kick. Many of the Pats followers were appealing for a corner kick. But a brilliant challenge. And what a timely one as well.
That was different class by Brian Gartland. I mean, Byrne is clean through. And again, you know, he's there and he's looking because Cherry's off his line. He's looking at a little flick over. Gartland with the long leg of his has come over and taken it away. Goal scoring opportunity saved. Brilliant defending.
Last touch came off Conan Byrne. Stephen O'Donnell made the run, but well read by Kenny Brown. Towel in pursuit, but Anto Flood gets there first. Neat footwork from the towering figure that is Anto Flood. Ger O'Brien, who actually, of course, played under Stephen Kenny whilst at Derry City. He's drawing comparisons between Liam Buckley and Stephen Kenny, saying they both instill belief in players. That's one of their strengths as managers. Both relatively quiet, apparently, in the dressing room as well. They don't tend to let the hairdryer treatment go. And it remains tight at Richmond Park. No goals between St. Pat's and Dundalk in this top of the table clash. Away by Rossiter. And this is Towell. Again, well read by Kenny Brown. Sent forward by Daryl Kavanagh. Flood in pursuit. Just been held up by Gartland. And the decision goes in favour of Dundalk. Now news of a goal. Derry have gone 1-up on Bray Wanderers at the Brandywell, and David McDade on the score sheet. Both those sides in pretty poor form. But Derry lead by 1-0. That's the only goal of the night so far. Lots of important games tonight, of course, across the city here at Belfield. UCD taking on Sligo Rovers, who will be hoping to capitalise if this one ends in a draw. But as it is, it's Pats on the attack once again, and a cracking effort from John Russell, but way off target.
But again, a lot better. I mean, Pats have closed down an awful lot better in the last, 2 or 3 minutes. Again, it's a long strike from distance. Never hit the target. The scary thing you have for Pats at the moment is an awful lot of the shots and goal are from distance, but they are starting to press higher up the pitch, in which what Pats do an awful lot, a lot better here in Richmond Park.
Well, Dundalk's away form has been absolutely superb. They've won 10 of their 13 away games this season. 10 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats. One at Shamrock Rovers, the other at Limerick. And it's the best away record in the league, and they'll be hoping to add to their win tally here tonight. This is John Dillon. Stroking it out to this near side. Gerald Bryan was rising. And it's a Dundalk throw-in. And every time Dundalk get into the final third, the decibel level goes up a notch or two behind the goal being defended by Brendan Clark in this first half. And that's careless from Curtis Byrne, gifting possession back to the home side. One in the air by Massey, and Gerald Bryan will allow it to run for another throw-in. Flicked on by Conan Byrne, helped on its way by Forrester. Flood. Andy Boyle nipped in. This is Curtis Byrne running at the Pats rear guard. Russell is there to cut it out. Conor Kenna gets it away, but only as far as Mountney. Every ball is being feverishly contested for. Conor Kenna with the booming header out of play.
I just think Dundalk over the last 5 minutes have just stepped a tiny bit off the pace, and they haven't started to push their players on, and you'd just like to see what they were doing for the first 5 or 10 minutes come back into their play, because realistically they haven't had a lot to fear, coming for the first 20 minutes trying to dictate the game. So I'd just like them push on a tiny bit more now.
Massey back to Andy Boyle. There's certainly no fear on the part of Dundalk. Stephen Kenny was saying that the very fact that they've already beaten St. Pat's twice meant that he wasn't asking the players to do something they haven't done before. They know what it takes to get the measure of the Saints. Can they do so tonight? That's the big question. Hoban's layoff for Towell. Hoban knocking it forward for Curtis Byrne, and Towell with an excellent ball to release Curtis Byrne. Gerald Bryan snapping at his heels, getting back. But it is going to be a corner kick, much to the disbelieving Gerald Bryan. And that's better from Dundalk, passing the ball around crisply and getting their corner kick at the end of it all.
Yeah, a lot better. See, Patrick Hoban has come out, and the centre halves don't know whether to go with him or not go with him, and that causes confusion, and then it opens up little channels in behind them.
And they have this corner kick. Gartland and Boyle inside the area. With a cluster of players. It's high and it's very, very deep towards the back post. Dane Massey is there. Watched by Gerald Bryan. And it's Gerald Bryan who comes away with possession of the football. Daryl Kavanagh from Clonmel. Well, he was trying to release Conan Byrne down this near side, but the radar wasn't quite switched on. O'Donnell. Good work once again by Daryl Kavanagh, because it was his presence there that really just rushed the Dundalk player into the air.
It's one thing that Daryl Kavanagh does very, very well. I mean, when he's on his game, he works and he presses very, very hard. I mean, probably the thing that he lacks probably the most as being an outstanding player is getting enough of goals. Outside of that, he works extremely hard.
Killian Brennan. This is Kavanagh, and it's Birmingham getting forward, being tracked all the way by John Dillon. And Dylan did well to play the ball off the St. Pat's man and now to play for a Dundalk goal kick.
Again, Pats are trying and they're trying to put a stamp on the game, but unfortunately they just haven't done enough, being the home side for the first 25 minutes of this game, to really impose themselves in the game at the moment. And I just think Dundalk are very, very comfortable, and I just think there's another gear in this side at the present moment in time. I'd like to see Pats press up more higher. I just don't think they're not doing it.
Killian Brennan laying it off for John Russell. Has support from Birmingham, but he's under pressure once again, but he turns away from that particular situation. But again, Dundalk forcing the mistake. Curtis Burns layoff for the forward rushing Dane Massey, but Chris Forrester slid in. Hoban. Heavy touch from Hoban. Absolutely furious with himself. Killian Brennan. Clever turn from Daryl Kavanagh and just ran away from him, but while he was fouled, free kick. Pats thought about taking it quickly.
Yeah, again, it's a great little turn there. I mean, he's quick off the mark. He's gotten a little touch, and it's a late tackle again. I mean, there's been 3 or 4 of them, and the referees let them go. And unfortunately, the one that he gave the card for wasn't a card, so you just got to be careful because there could be a flurry.
Well, a Pat's free kick, and once again, it's Killian Brennan and Conan Byrne. And Killian Brennan takes control of the situation, dinks it in, but Peter Cherry was wise to that, and he bowls it out. Curtis Byrne and Killian Brennan. That looked pretty dangerous, but there you go. Play goes on. Killian Brennan's attempt across takes a nick. Flood is in there. Meanwhile, Killian Brennan is down. And he's rolling about, writhing in agony at the moment. Well, the challenge that came in initially, certainly worth seeing once again, but Killian Brennan is down at the moment, and given the fact that he was forced off against Shamrock Rovers last week, perhaps not quite 100%.
Yeah, there's 2 incidents there. I mean, that was very, very dangerous. I mean, the second one, you can see it here. Like, there's a little nick at the end in the back of the ankle from Toal, and it's much of a muchness, but I think it's just sort of saying the first tackle was fairly close to being very, very dangerous. I mean, if it was a man in ball there, it was dangerous. And the second one, just a little niggle off the ball, I think. Don't do it again.
Well, it is going to be a St. Patrick's Athletic free kick when play resumes, and Killian Brennan has to leave the field of play.
Like, we've seen worse for that. I mean, that's quite dangerous. Lucky to get away with that, I think.
Well, a corner kick for St. Pat's. And it's Conan Byrne who swings it in towards the back post. Daryl Kavanagh was there. Big appeals for handball. Certainly from the Pats man and indeed the Pats supporters, but it's Dundalk on the counter-attack at the other end. Could be a significant swing here. And Stephen O'Donnell was never getting on the end of that ball. Loud claims for a penalty, certainly from Daryl Kavanagh after he pulled the trigger. And once again, Tomas Connolly had a big call to make.
Well, I mean, he's hit the ball, I mean, he's come down and it's knocked him in the hand, and I've seen the Ingevin, and if you look at the free kick incident a while ago, there was a handball in the middle of the park. It was literally exactly the same as that. He gave a free kick. So to me, is it the same? If he's given it for one, he's got to give it the other just because it's in the box.
The
big decision
of Stephen O'Donnell. Dundalk perhaps fortunate to get away with that one. Well, it's Pats who are building once again. And it's Kavanagh to have a crack, but again, way off target.
I mean,
Okay, let's go down pitch side to Gary McDonagh. Gary.
Thanks, Adrian. Liam, a full-blooded affair. Your assessment so far? Look, it's fairly frantic. There's not a huge amount of passing going on. It's because everybody's right at it. But look, it'll calm down, I'm sure, from where we're at. And we just need to link in a bit better.
Thanks, Liam.
Conan Byrne. Off Dane Massey and Conan Byrne onto it. Now Flood. Conan Byrne continues his run. Gartland is across in the middle to put out the threat. John Russell to take this throw in. Ger O'Brien off Stephen O'Donnell, and the ball will run for another Pat's throw in. Ger O'Brien cross took a nick. John Dillon was back defending. And it's sent long by Dane Massey, only as far as Conor Kenna, who cushions the ball into the path of Killian Brennan. Kenna back to Kenny Brown, all the way back to Brendan Clark, and Clark sweeps it away. Not kept in play despite the best efforts of Ger O'Brien.
I think the only argument having about the penalty in today, Jim, was exactly the same happening up the pitch. And I mean, we just spoke about it. Daryl Kavanagh hit the ball off the back four's hand in the penalty area. Same thing happened up the other end of the pitch. He gives a free kick. So if it's a free kick up the other end of the pitch, it's a free kick and it's a penalty. That's the only argument I have.
Stephen O'Donnell getting the measure there of John Russell. Forward from Gartland. Killian Brennan rising with Richie Towell. Towell, though, just barging into Killian Brennan, and it's a free kick to St. Pat's.
Well, again, the two lads, the two pretenders, are just getting to know each other a bit more. There's been a little niggle off the ball, and I think there's going to be a little more going on in this too. So I think it'll be worth watching for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, two of the most talented footballers in the league. Certainly creatively, but are showing the physical side of their game tonight. Flood just turned into the challenge of Andy Boyle. And Pat's on top at the moment. The ball went for a corner kick here. And Conan Byrne is preparing to lift it in. Cherry comes, didn't get too much on it, but Dundalk can break now with John Mountney. Curtis Byrne on this near side. It's a great run from Mountney. Killian Brennan bursting a gut to get back. Mountney, though, just losing his bearings, sticking at it though, and Birmingham sliding in. The ball ricochets. Ger O'Brien has a problem to deal with, but didn't he deal with it really well? Difficult situation for Ger O'Brien, but coolness under pressure. Russell gets it back to O'Brien. Flood away from Andy Boyle. This is Daryl Kavanagh. It is fairly helter-skelter at the moment. Conan Byrne sliding it forward for Daryl Kavanagh, and Richie Towell went crashing in. No foul though. Mountney for Hoban, who ran into space. He picked up a really good position, and Hoban with the attempt across got right underneath it, and that's disappointing for Dundalk.
Everything was teeing up there. I mean, they'd done really, really well. I mean, going back to the incident, Ger O'Brien did outstandingly well because Dundalk had broken. And then again in the second, just there, Hoban had a great chance to put the ball in the box. Towell had made a great run in. He was free in the inside, and he tried to put this too much pace on the rod and just aiming and getting the ball in the box, and even had a chance. That's the first or second time only that Towell's got forward in the first half, and he needs to do an awful lot more of that. But unfortunately, in the last 10 minutes, they haven't had a chance.
Boyle to Stephen O'Donnell. O'Donnell with a bit of disguise on the through ball. John Dillon out-muscled by Daryl Kavanagh. Flood with a layoff. John Russell getting forward. Dane Massey trying to retrieve the situation. Towell is there. Nipped away from him though by Conan Byrne. And Stephen O'Donnell to bring some calm to proceedings. Towell to Dillon. And this is Stephen O'Donnell back to Dane Massey. Oh dear. Well, it's a high stakes game this, so mistakes perhaps inevitable. Flood with the flick on. for Daryl Kavanagh. John Dillon went sliding in, and there's going to be a free kick once again in a very threatening and dangerous position here for St. Pat's to conjure something up with.
Yeah, and again it's Daryl Kavanagh making something out of nothing. You know, he's been very, very busy, and again it's another free kick. It's another late tackle. Dillon's caught him. He's putting his hands up. You know, maybe Kavanagh's put his foot in and all that, but it's in a very, very dangerous position. And you know, they've had one on target. This is probably more in Conan Byrne's range, to be honest, and he likes to look at this one, I think.
Well, Peter Cherry organises the four-man wall in front of him. Tomas Connolly making sure the wall is back the required distance. Killian Brennan and Conan Byrne over the dead ball. A few minutes to go to half-time. And it will be Conan Byrne, but straight off the wall, which did its job magnificently. Ger O'Brien to hoist it back in. And a free kick has been awarded to Dundalk for the challenge on Mark Rossiter.
Again, it's silly. Just a stupid free kick. I mean, he's putting the ball in a dangerous area, and there's a little nudge there. Stupid free kick.
Okay, let's go down pitch side once again. Stephen Kenny is chatting with Gary.
Thanks, Adrian. Stephen, chances at a premium in the first half. How do you assess your play?
Sorry, you can't be going in there.
Okay, the ball is sent long for Pat Hoban. We'll be back with Gary hopefully very shortly. And once again, Tomas Connolly blows his whistle, and it's a free kick for St. Pat's. So less than 5 minutes to go to half-time, and it has been a pretty even contest so far, Pat.
Yeah, it's been very even, very high intensity. You'd like to see the two sort of main contenders, and Brennan and Toll in the middle of the park, get on the ball, calm it down a tiny bit and show what they can play football. There's been a few late tackles going in, but that's always going to happen in a game like this. But I just think the team that calms down a bit more than the other tonight will get the result.
Here's Killian Brennan for Pats to Ger O'Brien. Andy Boyle happy to allow the ball roll back to his goalkeeper Peter Cherry. Cherry, who spent most of his career playing in Scotland, the likes of Clyde, Ayr and Airdrie. That was on the Clyde team that famously knocked Roy Keane's Celtic out of the Scottish Cup. He's bidding here to win a League of Ireland medal. Kenny Brown for Pats. Ger O'Brien back to his goalkeeper. Clark takes a touch, and under pressure is forced into the mistake. He knocks the ball out of play. Forward from Massey, but straight to Killian Brennan, who controls and finds Ger O'Brien. Conan Byrne down the line. And Curtis Byrne stuck out a boot and knocks the ball out of play. Well, they've travelled in huge numbers, the Dundalk fans. And of course, Dundalk tonight bidding to make it 9 wins in a row in all competitions. And it's something the club haven't achieved since 1966. 8 in a row at the moment. 6 league wins and 2 cup wins to boot. Here's Stephen O'Donnell flicking it on, looking for Hoban. Ger O'Brien sticking out a toe. John Dillon working it wide now for Mountney. Rossiter getting forward. Mountney elects to go through the middle. Towel onto it. This is better from Dundalk. Is there going to be end product though? Cut out by Daryl Kavanagh. Mountney did really well to get there first, and Mountney drills it in. Headed away by Conor Kenna. Stephen O'Donnell was rising. Killian Brennan under pressure here from Mountney. And Brennan does enough to see the ball out of play. And Killian Brennan just having a smile or two, a chuckle with the Dundalk supporters. Of course, being a Drogheda lad. I'm sure he has plenty on his mind.
I don't think he was saying we'll get a cup of tea at half time to the man Adrian, and that's for sure.
Rossiter got the touch to it. Daryl Kavanagh. Oh, just squirts out of play. It's a match which has been short on chances, but perhaps now for Richie Towell. Towell's effort. Decent save from Brendan Clark. Well, that was Richie Towell at his best, powering forward, getting on the end of it, drilling it goalwards, but it was pretty comfortable in the end for the Pats custodian.
Adrian, it was absolutely brilliant, and I mean, people didn't see it because it was so deep. I mean, Hoban put it in, but Towell switched on so quickly, like it was like bang, gone, and no one picked him up. And he's so disappointed, I'd say, with the finish in the end, because it was a chance, a great chance.
Final minute of the first half. John Dillon sends it long, cut out by Birmingham. Kavanagh does well to fend off the challenge. Now Conor Kenna. Flood trying to make the most of the situation. Andy Boyle plays it off the Pats man and out of play. Well, it's been pretty tight so far, Pat. Your overall assessment of the first half?
I just think, as you say, it's been very tight. It's been very high intensity. I just like to see either team to just get on the ball a bit more, calm it down a bit, play a bit of football and relax and enjoy the occasion as well. I think there's goals in the game still, Adrian. Definitely goals a game. But I think the two most influential players need to get a bit more of a grip in what they're doing in the middle of the park.
Well, there's a great atmosphere inside Richmond Park for this top of the table clash. And plenty to savour, I'm sure, in the second half as Birmingham goes on the charge. There's going to be some drama before half time here. And once again, Pats looking for a decision that was never going to come. And once again, Flood involved, and he's absolutely furious with the referee here.
Not happy at all. I mean, it's good football. I mean, you can see him there. He's looking at it, and the ball, it's come in, and I mean, the defender's done really. He's looking at it. I think that's a corner kick, to be fair to him. And he's a bit frustrated, isn't he?
Well, he's still yakking towards the referee. Killian Brennan's header. Forward from Ger O'Brien. Again, Flood underneath the bouncing ball. It came off Andy Boyle, though. Brennan with the knockdown. Forrester immediately closed down, and Dundalk can break now with Towell. Curtis Byrne to his left further forward. Just lacking support, but Towell manages to feed it through for Curtis Byrne. Massey to swing it in, but off the body of the retreating Conan Byrne and out of play. Well, Tomas Connolly sounds the half-time whistle. It's been eventful, short on chances. Big call, of course, over the handball incident involving Stephen O'Donnell. Richie Towell, one of those centrally involved. But at half-time, it is deadlocked at Richmond Park in this top of the table clash. It is St Patrick's Athletic 0, Dundalk 0. The thoughts of Tony McDonald with Peter right after this break. Thanks very much, Peter. Well, it is a beautiful night for football. Conditions absolutely ideal as well. Hardly a breeze. It's a lovely calm evening, and the pitch looks absolutely superb as well, Pat, in pristine condition. Plenty of water on it before kick-off as well, so no complaints on that front. And we just need these two sides to have a good go in the second half, but perhaps bring a little bit more measure to proceedings. It's been rather helter-skelter, as we said, during the course of the first half, but really it's about getting it down and trying to be a little more in control of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pitch is pristine. I mean, you know, there's even like a little dew appearing on it as well now, so that'll make the ball zip off the surface a bit more. And as the lads are saying back in studio there, you can see that Dundalk like to zip it into feet and play the ball around. As I say, I just like to see both teams get a bit more on the ball and just relax and really start to enjoy the occasion as well. I think it's very important to start enjoying the occasion, and that's when the big and good players step up to the plate. 0-0
at Richmond Park. High stakes, of course. Both these two vying for the league title. And Sligo Rovers perhaps under the radar at the moment. 5 points adrift in third place. Being held scoreless by UCD at the Belfield Bowl at the moment. Here's John Dillon for Dundalk. This is the 192nd meeting of St Pat's and Dundalk. As Kenny Brown has a smile on his face.
Bit funny, there's Kenny, and he's trying, and he's trying, and he's gone.
Big Kenny goes. But it is a free kick for Kenny Brown, the man from Waterford, and he balloons it forward looking for Flood. Well read though by Andy Boyle. Brown with another opportunity perhaps. Dinks it forward for Killian Brennan, but John Dillon nipped in. Conor Kenna clears away but out of play. Dane Massey, who's on a yellow card, a rather harsh yellow card, picked up in the first half with the throw-in. And Dundalk trying to create something here. It's Hoban trying to get away from Conor Kenna, but Kenna did really well. Tremendous block by Conor Kenna as Pat Hoban pulled the trigger. More frustration for Hoban.
Yeah, I mean, he had the touch. I mean, again, it's a great little ball inside, and Hoban, he has it on his right foot. He's checked inside. Look at Conor Kenna, never taking his eyes off. Great defending.
Great defending from Conor Kenna, who started his career with Shelbourne back in 2003 and went on to UCD. So he has seen plenty of service throughout his career. And there's few around who would begrudge him a league medal at this stage. Conor Kenna, top class player alongside, of course, Kenny Brown. The Pats defence that has only conceded 13 goals so far this campaign.
Yeah, fantastic. And he's an unsung hero all the time. I mean, he goes wrong. He's always very quiet on the pitch, but always does the job correctly. That's why he's captain of the club. And even in the first half, he made a great interception as well. Always unsung, but does the job.
Richie Towell loses possession there. Flood with the offload, and Flood once again, but just too much weight on it. And that one rolls behind for a goal kick. Once again, the Dundalk supporters making plenty of noise. And I'm sure Liam Buckley had plenty to say to his side at half-time. Cherry drills it downfield, only as far as Kenny Brown. Killian Brennan rising with John Dillon. Brown. And it's all a bit scrappy right at the start of the second half. Conor Kenna wins it in the air. Returned with interest by Andy Boyle. Forrester under pressure from Stephen O'Donnell, and O'Donnell is there to latch on to the loose ball. But Anto Flood has been fouled, and he beats the ground in frustration. I think he's not really getting the correct calls from the referee, albeit the referee did call for the free kick there.
I think he's frustrated as well, Adrian. I mean, balls will be knocked up to him. I mean, he's doing very, very well. I mean, for a big lad, he's got fantastic control. But, like, when you're up there and you're on your own, when you get control of the ball, you want to get some options. And I know he's getting knocked in the back and all that, but it's nice when you can look up and you can see someone looking for the ball off you. Unfortunately, at the moment, that hasn't happened.
Hoban for Dundalk, sliding it forward for Richie Towell. Neat footwork from Towell. He's outnumbered here, but he's making the most of the situation. He almost fed it through for John Dillon. And the effort just over the top. Well, Dundalk were appealing for it. Richie Towell turned to the referee. In the end, the effort fizzes over the top of the crossbar. Brilliant effort, and Dundalk unlucky not to be in front.
It was just different class. I mean, it was like the ball was on a bat, and I mean, it's bouncing all over it. And in the end, he's a little chance, and he's very, very disappointed. I mean, there's three on him, and he still has a chance. Lays a little ball off. Could have been a little handball. It's knocked back to him, and he's just got behind it, but he's trying to pick it into the top corner. Very unlucky.
Well, that's more like it from Richie Towell getting forward. Of course, he had that chance in the first half as well. And now a free kick at the other end for St. Patrick's Athletic. And here's what occurred, Pat.
See, again, it's just so frustrating. I mean, he's such a big lad, and he's so difficult to mark his Flood. And when he's in the areas that he's in, he just hands go out and legs go out, but he always gets control of the ball, and he causes so much problems.
Pat's free kick once again, as ever. Conan Byrne and Killian Brennan over it. Byrne is going to leave it for Brennan to take on the responsibility. He sends it wide now for Ger O'Brien. O'Brien delivers the cross. It's a decent ball in, and it's headed in, and St. Patrick's Athletic lead. How big a goal could that prove to be? It's Chris Forrester, the right man in the right place to power the ball to the net. Brilliant delivery from O'Brien, and what a finish from Chris Forrester.
Absolutely, Adrian. I mean, again, it's just a little different chance. Gerard O'Brien has done outstandingly. Great ball in the box. Forrester unmarked. Shocking marking. There's Gerard O'Brien. Different classes of full-back. Gets to the byline. Great ball in. Marking. Where were you? Absolutely outstanding play by Gerard O'Brien. Great different change by Killian O'Brien to knock it out. Forrester in the box. 8 yards out. Doesn't miss from there. Where was the marking?
Chris Forrester with his 7th league goal. It could be the most important goal he has scored this season for St Patrick's Athletic. They lead Dundalk in this top of the table clash by 1-0. Powerful header from Forrester. They're looking for more here with Daryl Kavanagh from a long way out. Well, I'm sure he saw what Curtis Byrne managed to do for Dundalk last week on the halfway line, and he fancies having a thrash at this one.
And I can tell you one thing, that's not far off at all. And Cherry's saying to himself, you know what, I hope that's long because I'm in trouble here. And that's not bad at all. And it's just given total renewed hope to Pats. But it's a marvellous goal at the right time of the game. And they need to just drive on from here now, Pats.
Interesting to see now how Dundalk respond to that setback. They're on the attack here with Pat Hoban. Just outnumbered the man from Galway. And Conor Kenna works it away to John Russell. And the Galway man has gifted possession back to Dundalk. Stephen O'Donnell for Richie Towell, who grew up here in Inchicore. John Dillon's ball into the area. It's knocked away only as far as Towell. Solid defending once again from the home side, and Killian Brennan works it out left to Ian Birmingham, who clears. And Dundalk now trying to respond. Andy Boyle to Stephen O'Donnell. Plenty of time for Dundalk to work their way back into this game. Dane Massey forced to go back. Brian Gartland stepping away from Daryl Kavanagh, but not away from Forrester. He crashes to the ground in the end. The ball just ran away, and the referee has awarded the free kick to Dundalk. And Brian Gartland slowly getting back to his feet following this collision with John Russell.
Yeah, I mean, Gartland's come inside and Russell is very high there. I mean, that's nasty. And I mean, he's again very lucky not to get away with a card. I mean, it looks like he's come out the worst of it, but that's a very nasty and high tackle. And again, you just don't want to see that in the game. I mean, he's hurt himself, but boy, that was high.
Well, Dundalk haven't managed a clean sheet at Richmond Park since 1994. And that run goes on, some 20 visits. And there's a yellow card as a result of that challenge on Gartland for John Russell. And it's a free kick for Dundalk. John Dillon over the dead ball, angling it in. And Gartland amongst those in there rising. Andy Boyle, in fact, was the final player who got some contact on it. Not the cleanest of connections.
It's not a bad ball in though. I mean, it's hit with a lot of pace, and he hasn't timed his run correctly. I think going back to the goal agent though, I think what Stephen Kenny will be so annoyed about is that Forrester was on his own in the box, and I think as all teams, you look who you're picking up. They changed the point of attack by putting the ball to Gerard O'Brien, and Dundalk just switched off because they thought the ball was going to come in from Killian Brennan. Free header, and he'd be very disappointed with the marking for the goal.
And it was a terrific ball in as well from Gerard O'Brien. Pat's looking for more here, but Brian Gartland is there to clear his lines. Killian Brennan allows it to run. Hoban helps it on. John Mountney. Birmingham has to chase back to deal with the situation. And Birmingham eventually slices the ball out of play. Decent response to falling behind from Dundalk. They're just pressing the home side at the moment. Rossiter with his throw-in. Dillon making a run. Mountney available as well. Rossiter, faced by Killian Brennan, delivers the cross but cleared away by Conor Kenna. Once again, appeals for handball and the referee concurs.
Again, it was just a small little use of the hand. He has to give it there, unfortunately, for Stephen O'Donnell, but you can see the frustration is there. But look, it's going to show the character of Dundalk now. It's going to see if they've got this character to come back in this game and see if they can stay in this championship race. I mean, it's not over yet. I mean, they have been probably the better side since we started the game tonight, but they've got to just show character now. And as I say, big players for big occasions.
Brendan Clark takes the free kick. It's allowed to drop inside the area. Flood is there to seize on the loose ball. A free kick has been awarded to Dundalk, and I'm sure once again Anto Flood will scarcely believe it. He's down feeling his side at the moment.
Again, I mean, this has got to be interesting to see, Adrian. I mean, Flood has come in, yeah, little nudge, and he's gone down. Here's the thing on that, right? I mean, you look at the incident of the first half, that's gone the wrong way. He's done a handball, you know, not intentional. There's a second one. In my view, he could be lucky to stay on the pitch.
Dundalk gift the ball straight to Killian Brennan, the draw the man, feeds it out wide right. Conan Byrne unable to retain possession, and Dundalk anxious to get on with it quickly here, trailing by a goal to nil. A header from Chris Forrester at the moment, the difference between the sides. Daryl Kavanagh at full stretch, ball just ran away from him. Rossiter manages to work it back to Gartland, who turned into trouble in the shape of Daryl Kavanagh, and there was a late challenge by Daryl Kavanagh, and the yellow card is out once again.
See, this is the scary thing that I could see happening now, is that the game could just get a little bit out of hand. The referee's given out a few yellow cards in the last couple of minutes. There's the card, had to go, you know.
Well, there's the challenge, which results in the yellow card. Let's go down pitch side to Gary McDonagh.
Stephen, disappointed with that goal you conceded?
Yeah, very disappointed. It was never a free kick. Anyway, ridiculous free kick to be given. But disappointed. We should have defended it better. But we have to go now and get one back. We've come back here already earlier in the season and got one, so we can do it again.
All right, Stephen.
Well, they've coughed up possession, and Pat's trying to yield some reward for the persistence on the far side by Conan Byrne. I'm sure at this stage Pats will try and just take the sting out of the game, but it's a spicy encounter as it stands. Ball fed in here, Kavanagh! Brilliant! Absolutely top drawer. Liam Buckley celebrates an absolutely top-notch goal from Daryl Kavanagh, and it's 2-0 to the Saints.
Different class. I mean, he's been threatening all night. I put the kiss to that, and I said he doesn't score enough of goals. He does everything else. Great ball by Conan Byrne. Brilliant first touch. Top class finish. Right in the top corner. Brilliant first touch. Great finish. Outstanding in the first half. You can see Liam Buckley absolutely thrilled. Deserves a Daryl Kavanagh tonight. He's been outstanding in the first half. Worked so hard. Great finish. Well done, son.
St. Pat's taking a major step towards the title. They lead by 2-0. There's a lot of football to be played tonight, and of course still 5 games to go, but they are in the box seat here, leading by 2-0. Oh, what a finish from Daryl Kavanagh, and Peter Cherry was never getting anywhere near it. Well, that's careless, and John Russell slides in, but Stephen O'Donnell showed good strength. Rossiter for Mountney, helping it on for Tao. Killian Brennan again biting in with the challenge. Tao closing in on Kenny Brown, and Conan Byrne, who certainly played a pivotal role in that goal for Daryl Kavanagh. The returning Daryl Kavanagh back once again at St. Pat's and delivering a quality finish. Dane Massey helping it on for Dundalk. The Loud side need a goal just to get that belief going once again. Well, a pretty raucous atmosphere now inside Richmond Park, thanks to Chris Forrester and that man Daryl Kavanagh.
Yeah, like Dundalk had just been hit with 2 sucker blows really quickly, and I mean the situation that they had is they couldn't get back from the first one, and then it's a great bit of football by Pats. Conan Byrne, great ball. Kavanagh, outstanding finish, and now again you're sort of saying to yourself, let's try and get one back.
Forrester playing it through. This is John Russell. Russell across the face of goal, and Cherry down to his left to make the save. Teasing ball in from John Russell, and Pat's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's great football, great little ball. Russell's coming in again on his wrong side, knocks it in. Cherry makes an easy save, but it's all Pats now. I mean, they've got the drive, they've got the determination, the confidence is sky high. Dundalk have just got to kill the game for 5 minutes, try and get back into it, sneak a little goal, and let's see what happens.
Richmond Park is absolutely hopping at the moment. In fairness, the Dundalk supporters are still getting behind their team, but the Pats fans in terrific voice. Meanwhile, a chance for Hoban. Great save. Brendan Clark. Angle was difficult for Hoban. Had to take it early, and Clark couldn't take any chances with it and managed to parry it behind.
Yeah, great football by Dundalk, and you see Hoban going in the channels. Great ball by John Russell. Marvellous little ball. Hoban not even looking, strike a goal, good save. Think it was going wide though.
But it is a corner kick to be taken by John Dillon. Dillon, it's an outswinger, and it's cleared away by the man who got the opening goal, Chris Forrester. Richie Towell lifting it back in, and Killian Brennan rising. And Killian Brennan rising once again. The ball breaks loose. Daryl Kavanagh trying to get there. This is Stephen O'Donnell. Back to Towell. Lifting it towards the back stick, away by Conor Kenna, and helped further on its way by Conan Byrne, but mopped up by O'Donnell. Dane Massey now for Dundalk, but the cannons in favour of St. Pat's, and they could break away here quickly. Daryl Kavanagh ahead of John Dillon. Kavanagh goes to ground, free kick awarded to St. Pat's.
See, again, it's great play by Daryl Kavanagh. He knows what's going to come. He's going to come back into John Dillon, and he's getting the free kick, and he's killing the game, and he's killing the bit of sort of intensity that Dundalk are trying to get back into the game, and that's just intelligent play.
Well, Daryl Kavanagh has stayed down following the challenge involving John Dillon, who's just checking on his welfare. There's going to be a change here, and it's Dundalk who are making the change. And Vinnie Faherty, the former Pats player, is coming on in place of John Mountney. So Vinnie Faherty on for Mountney as Stephen Kenny tries to find a way back into this game, making the change to see if it will have the desired effect. Vinnie Faherty, who had a total of 56 appearances in a couple of spells at St. Pat's. Dundalk in need of a goal at this stage. Still plenty of time for them to rescue this situation. Killian Brennan over the free kick. Daryl Kavanagh at the moment just off the field of play, and he'll be waved back on. And Killian Brennan switches it out to the right hand side. Ger O'Brien, so instrumental in that opening goal. Excellent delivery in for the head of Chris Forrester. And second goal supplied by Daryl Kavanagh.
Well, you'd like to think the substitution at Dundalk is that Faherty is going to go straight up front, and you think that they're going to try and go either 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. But they've got to go chasing now, and that could cause a few problems, because if this lad get on the ball in a bit of space, he can cause all sorts of problems.
Back heel there from Killian Brennan. John Russell at full stretch. Forrester leaves it for Russell. He's just a bundle of energy, John Russell. Back to Kenny Brown. And over hit by Kenny Brown. The ball goes out of play, and the decision goes the way of Dundalk. 6 straight wins for Dundalk coming into this game. 8 in total when you add in the 2 cup wins. Tremendous run of form from Stephen Kenny's side. And as he said, confidence coursing through their veins. But they've suffered a double whammy in the second half so far. Can they work their way back into this contest? Hoban underneath it, but one in the air by Conor Kenna. This is Faherty, the new man in, feeding it forward for the run of Pat Hoban, but two players not quite on the same wavelength on that occasion. Now we're hearing Dundalk will make another change very shortly. John Sullivan, dropped for tonight's game, is about to be introduced very shortly. Here's John Dillon for the Loudmen, and he knocks the ball straight out of play. Well, maybe he knew it was coming, because John Dillon is going off. He knocked the ball out of play just a few moments ago, and John Sullivan is on. Sullivan is essentially a defensive midfielder, although he's also played at the back. Played right back against Shelburne last week. Meanwhile, there's a hold up because Anto Flood and Dane Massey are being spoken to by Tomas Connolly. Russell with the knockdown, it's careless. Faherty sliding it through for the run of Hoban, but Brendan Clark is very quickly off his line to make the clearance.
And I tell you one thing, if that had fallen to anybody else bar Vinny Fardy, I just think his first 2 touches have been poor because he's just come on the pitch, and I think that was a chance because it was a bit sloppy play by Pats.
Towell, Farty, and just behind the right back, Mark Rossiter, who is getting forward. Birmingham's throw-in down the line. Flood the target. Andy Boyle has to deal with it here. Works it back to Peter Cherry. Gartland. All a bit jittery there from Dundalk, but they've managed to deal with it. Fired forward by Rossiter. Towel onto the loose ball. Dueling here with Killian Brennan. Russell with the header on, looking for Daryl Kavanagh. And Kavanagh under pressure from Gartland. Now Forrester. By and large had a quiet game, but he's really sparked this contest into life with that opening goal. Flood holding it up. Conan Byrne getting forward. Still Anto Flood. With Dane Massey and Stephen O'Donnell in close attendance. Flood feeds it back. Towell got there first ahead of Ger O'Brien. It remains a feisty affair at Richmond Park. Pat Hoban on the turn. But Conor Kenna once again sliding in, and a brilliant intervention from Conor Kenna.
Yeah, he's been different class tonight, Conor Kenna. But the biggest thing for Dundalk now is they just can't panic yet. I mean, I think Stephen Kenny, by bringing on 2 quick substitutions, has shown a small bit of panic. I don't think he needed to do that. I just think they need to get a goal to get back into this game. But Pats, if they get another one's game over.
Dane Massey for Dundalk, angling it in, and Brendan Clark gathers. And it was almost one of those troubling moments where 2 teammates collide and the ball runs loose. But fortunately for Pats, Clark held on to it.
That's the most important thing, that he just didn't get it. Take that the knock was going to knock the ball out and have a tap in for Hoban, and you know, it changes the whole kind of complexion of the game.
Offside flag is raised. And another change on the way, and this time it's a St. Pat's change. And Conan Byrne is going off. So Byrne is off. And Sean Gannon is on. So Liam Buckley just tweaking his formation now. We're past the midpoint of the second half. So still, Pat, plenty of time for Dundalk. More on that shortly. Let's go down pitch side once again to Gary McDonagh. Gary.
Liam, 2 goals to put you in good control of this game.
Yeah, delighted. I thought we started well. We said at half-time we need to get at them and try and link it in as best we can. Tremendous goal, great cross from Ger O'Brien, a great finish from Chris Forrester.
Thanks.
Well, here's a chance perhaps for the aforementioned Forrester once again. Not quite on that occasion. Ger O'Brien managed to keep the ball in play. John Russell, as he overstruck that one, while Birmingham had to chase somebody who was never getting on the end of it. Rossiter's throw in. Heavy one from Stephen O'Donnell. Andy Boyle, in fact it was Gartland who went sliding in. And it's going to be a throw in for St. Patrick's Athletic. Well, they'll be happy enough with this situation if the game continues to be stop-start. You do not want Dundalk gathering any kind of momentum. Brennan just losing out to Stephen O'Donnell, who's happy to gather the ball for the throw-in. Rossiter, and away by Gartland up towards halfway, where it's met by the head of Kenny Brown. Killian Brennan, only as far as Stephen O'Donnell. Now Towell, with Curtis Byrne through the middle, but this is Pat Hoban. Clark at full stretch. Kenny Brown is there, and the ball ricochets behind. And it will be a goal kick, almost one back for Dundalk, but good work from Hoban. But no end product this time for Dundalk.
Yes, when it's your day, it's your day. I mean, it's a great little ball in by Towell. Hoban's very brave, keeper's very brave. He gets the touch. When it's your day, it knocks off, it's in the back of the net. See it again, the keeper's done really well to come out and defend it. If that's the other way, it's a goal. I mean, if you go winning, it's a goal.
Them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks.
Rossiter with the header back. It was almost seized upon there by Daryl Kavanagh. And Cherry, fortunately for Dundalk, very quickly off his line. Forward from Andy Boyle. Forrester's layoff to Daryl Kavanagh. Straight to Dane Massey. He in turn has given it away to Ger O'Brien. This is John Russell onto it. Pat's building once again. And this is a really good run from Ger O'Brien. Doesn't get too many goals. He's only ever scored one goal in his Pat's career. Forrester losing out. Now can Dundalk make the most of this situation? Killian Brennan went sliding in. And the referee is going to take action here. And Killian Brennan will have no complaints. He may complain all he likes. Brian Gartland getting involved unnecessarily. And the referee, Tomas Connolly, issues the yellow card.
Yeah, I don't think he's had too many complaints about that. I mean, you know, he's come in, he's late. I mean, he's down on the ground, but I don't know if it's even for that tackle. I just think it's for a few others earlier on that has been missed. And you know, I don't think he can be too upset about not getting a card or getting a card there. You know, I think it's been coming, to be fair.
Well, here's a chance perhaps as Gartland lifts it forward. And the ball sails behind for a goal kick. Now news of a goal at the Belfield Bowl, and Sligo Rovers, the defending champions, lead by 1-0. Kieran Jalali on the score sheet there. UCD 0, Sligo Rovers 1.
I think, Adrian, just going back to even Ger O'Brien there a while ago, you say he doesn't score too many goals and he's only got one for Pats, but I can tell you one thing: if he's putting crosses like that in, week out for your centre forwards to get onto, they're as good as goals.
Well, he was telling me he's playing the best football of his career in the last couple of seasons. He's thriving on it, and he would dearly love to win a league medal, I'm sure. Pretty much a local boy in these parts. Killian Brennan. And again, it's a bit rash. Richie Towell this time, the guilty man, and it's a free kick for St. Pat's.
Again, small but harsh, I think, that free kick as well.
Clark's clearance is rather wasteful. Sullivan. Now Andy Boyle. Fardy with the flick on, gets another bite at it. Fed wide by Curtis Byrne. This is Stephen O'Donnell. Well watched by Ian Birmingham, but it will be a Dundalk corner. Desperately in need of something at this stage in the game.
Well, you think they'd all go up here, wouldn't you, Adrian? I mean, you don't think they're going to leave anybody back. I mean, Pats have brought everybody back and they start a short one.
Well, they go short. Stephen O'Donnell knocks it in, and it's Towell onto it. The ball ricocheting around inside the Pats area, and it's Pats on the counter here with Ger O'Brien. Daryl Kavanagh steaming forward down this near side. Kavanagh, as Dundalk tried to flood bodies back. Daryl Kavanagh, faced by John Sullivan, checking inside, lifts it in, headed clear, only as far as John Russell. Russell. Oh, it would have been the classic breakaway. Gannon. And it all breaks down for Pats. Towell has it back for the visitors, Dundalk. Lifted forward by John Sullivan. This is Killian Brennan. Now Ger O'Brien. Laying it down the line now. Pats looking for a third goal here. And it's pulled back for Daryl Kavanagh, who has a swing at it. Cherry fists it away. Another opportunity perhaps for Daryl Kavanagh. Again, it's batted away. Good goalkeeping by Peter Cherry. Thwarted yet again, Daryl Kavanagh. He has his goal. He might well have had another.
Yeah, the first one is just a little teaser for the keeper to say, look, you punch that back out to me. I'll have a little chest, take it inside. And then that's a great strike. But again, Cherry stood up. But it's been all Daryl Kavanagh second half.
The man from Clonmel has certainly turned in a very fine second half display. Pat's throw in. Stephen O'Donnell, I think, isn't too happy that Stephen O'Donnell getting involved with Ger O'Brien now, and it's a red card, a raised hand on the part of Stephen O'Donnell. clearly incensed that Ger O'Brien was taking his time over the throw-in, but he raised his hand. It was innocuous, but once you raise your hand, well, the referee had simply no choice whatsoever. The captain is gone.
Absolutely senseless. I mean, you know the rules, you know what's going to happen. I mean, you look, Ger O'Brien has gone into him, and you just can't do that. And I mean, the bottom line is he's given the referee no option there, and the referee's just gone straight to the pocket, but had to go then. And there you go. I mean, Ger O'Brien has gone over. I think Ger O'Brien is talking with the linesman about trying to do what he's going to do, and then he's gone. And that kills the game, and that's over.
Whatever chance Dundalk had may well have gone up in smoke. Down to 10 men, trailing by 2-0. Their title fortunes on the line, and their skipper has been red carded. Andy Boyle sweeps it away, but only as far as Killian Brennan. Pat's in control of this game. Dane Massey plays it off the body of Ger O'Brien and behind for a goal kick.
It's just total frustration building up the whole time, Adrian. You know, you're there. You've played very, very well in the game. You've been there. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Well, it's going to take something extraordinary now for Dundalk to turn this one around. There's a bottle thrown on the pitch, which has been handed over to the fourth official by referee Tomas Connolly. Meanwhile, Pat's about to make another change. May well be Jake Kelly who's coming on. We'll confirm that very shortly. Dundalk looking for a goal. Richie Towell trying to get away from Kenny Brown. And once again, the big man did well, but it's a corner for Dundalk, which Towell takes quickly. Rolls it back. Dundalk with plenty of bodies inside the area. It's delivered in, and it sails behind. It was a dangerous ball in, and nobody got on the end of it.
That's an absolutely fantastic ball in the box. I mean, it's come in. No one has attacked it. I mean, that is just different class of a ball. I mean, that's a striker's dream. Get in there, put your head in it, anything, and it's a goal. Fantastic ball.
Well, they really have to make the most of their chances, and Dundalk had a chance of sorts there. And confirmation of a change for Pats. Jake Kelly is coming on for Daryl Kavanagh, who rifled Pats into a 2-0 lead with a stylish finish. And a pleasing performance from Daryl Kavanagh in your view, Pat?
Look, absolutely. I mean, he's getting a standing ovation going off, and deservedly so. I mean, he worked so hard in the first half, chased, harried, created a few chances, caused it all problems, and then got a cracker in the second half, which I think has sealed the game for Pats, because I just don't think Dundalk with 10 men can get back into this, especially after just a silly sending off as well, because it just ends it really.
And meanwhile, a change been made by Dundalk. Curtis Byrne has gone off, and Tiernan Mulvenna from Moorheaven is on for the remainder of this game. Stephen Kenny hoping that Mulvenna, who on his day is a very hard player to play, can create something for Dundalk, but they need 2 goals and they're down a man. It's a big ask, and it's Pats who have a free kick. So Killian Brennan over the dead ball. Rolls it back to Kenny Brown. Brennan for Ger O'Brien. O'Brien checking inside. Not quite working out for Ger O'Brien, but he's stuck at it. Towel onto it for Dundalk. Ger O'Brien simply not giving up the calls there whatsoever. And Dundalk go long. Looking for Tiernan Mulvenna. It breaks to Hoban. Hoban looking for the cavalry to arrive. Rossiter into the penalty area, but it's meat and drink for Killian Brennan, who has covered some ground in this game, you'd have to say. And Brennan back to Birmingham. Now John Russell shouts a man on from just below us. Here's the new arrival, Jake Kelly, for Forrester. Birmingham. John Russell. And Russell forward for Flood. Forrester in support. Ger O'Brien. Pats, by and large, happy to snuff the life out of the game, just stroke it around and maybe just inject some pace and go for the jugular and grab a third. Birmingham. Jake Kelly, the former Bray Wanderers player. Birmingham. It's the return of Russell. Good football here from St. Pat's in a tight area, and in the end it's knocked out of play.
Yeah, it's very comfortable now. I mean, they're knocking the ball around at their ease. I mean, obviously they're against 10 men, but it's, you know, as you say, they're just sucking the life out of the game, and they're just going to make Dundalk chase shadows for the last 10 minutes, I think, and if they get a chance to get a third, then they'll take it.
Jake Kelly for Birmingham, a chance to deliver the cross. A decent ball in, didn't quite run Conley though for Gannon, was just behind him. Massey. Sullivan very quickly closed down by the hard-working Chris Forrester. Gartland clipping it forward. Kenny Brown and Conor Kenna both going for the same ball. Bailed out in the end though by the ever-vigilant Ger O'Brien. Came off the head of Sullivan. Gartland clears. Controlled by Tiernan Mulvena, the local lad. To Richie Towell. Good work from John Russell just to dispossess Towell. Still there though for Dundalk. Massey down the line for Vinnie Faherty. Towell. John Sullivan. Brian Gartland. Andy Boyle invited to stride forward. Been tracked by John Russell. Neat footwork from Dane Massey. Delivers a good ball as well. Hoban was rising, but the Pats defence has been rock solid all night long.
Absolutely, but realistic, what Dundalk have to do now, they have to take chances. I mean, you know, there's no point. They might as well be beaten by 4 as be beaten by 2. And they've got to push men forward. They've got to try and nick a goal and try and create some sort of pressure in the last 5 minutes, realistically. Otherwise, they're going to be 3 points now.
Brian Gartland clipping it forward. Fardy was there. Tiernan Mulvena pulls the trigger, never got a hold of it, and it runs through kindly for Brendan Clark.
Yeah, again, that just sums up the night really for Tiernan Mulvena. He comes on, and I mean, he's trying to snap at something rather, try and get a bit of control in that and get a striking target. But again, it's just all the pressure, the intensity, and everything has just got to them in the end, and they've just been hit by 2 big massive blows, 2 cracking goals, 1 bad defending, and a bit of individual brilliance, and they've struggled.
Forrester onto it, allows it to run for John Russell. Russell to have a crack at goal, and it took a deflection. It goes out for a corner kick.
Again, you can see it. Look, it's just knocked the ball around. They're backing off. You can't do that with Russell 18-20 yards out. He has a smack and gets a little deflection, and now there's more trouble.
Pats with the corner kick. Russell arrives inside the area. Being watched by the Sligo man, Mark Rossiter. Killian Brennan to take this corner kick for St. Pat's. Looking for the 3rd goal here, but they elect to go short. Back to Killian Brennan, who has John Russell in support. No great hurry about Killian Brennan. This is John Russell. Being pressurised by Richie Towell. In the end, the ball goes out of play, and it will be a throw-in for St. Pat's. Birmingham. Killian Brennan lifting it forward for Forrester. Still in play. Birmingham rolls it back for Forrester. All very tight and congested at the moment. And there was a pretty heavy challenge which went in there. Tiernan Mulvena. And referee Tomas Connolly was very quickly on the scene just to break things up. And Forrester walks away, just feeling the back of his neck. And Tomas Connolly trying to restore some calm. And he's going to seek out. Chris Forrester is been summoned over. The referee is reaching for a card here for Tiernan Mulvena, and it's a yellow. In fact, a yellow for both players, Chris Forrester and Tiernan Mulvena.
See, again, look, Mulvena has gone in. It's a late tackle. That's a card. Obviously, the second one is just a reaction, which you can see. in which he's just thrown his head into the back of him in total frustration. I mean, the first, it's a yellow card, obviously, and then there's the retaliation, which is another yellow card. So, referee can't do anything about that, really, can he?
Yeah, headbutt into the back. But there you go, both players have been yellow carded. And all this really suits St. Pat's at this late stage. Just 4 minutes of the regulation 90 to go. And Stephen Kenny, well, concern etched all over his face. He'll have to hope that Dundalk can bounce back. We'll talk about the run-in very shortly, Pat, but right now Pats have this free kick, which Killian Brennan manages to engineer a throw-in from off Tuna Mulvena. He's waiting for the arrival of a football. Killian Brennan sharing a joke with the Pats fans on this near side of the ground. Well, now you're going to believe us. They believe they're on their way to the league title. This is John Russell lifting it towards the back post, and Peter Cherry will scamper to try and keep it in play, but it goes behind for a goal kick. So Pats, by virtue of claiming all 3 points tonight, will move on to 61 points. And of course, they have a vastly superior goal difference compared to Dundalk, who will remain on 58 points. Still a lot of football to be played, Pat. 5 games to go for both these sides after tonight, as Peter Cherry has to make this clearance, but a lot of football still to be played.
Absolutely, Adrian. I mean, look, the Pats have been knocking on the door for so long. Over the last couple of seasons, everybody's saying, you know, it's the Cup X amount of years, League X amount of years, and they're knocking. And like anybody says, if you keep knocking and knocking hard enough, someday the door will open. And, you know, there is still a lot of football to be played. There's 5 games left, and, you know, they're tough games, and it's going to get nervous. Tonight, they've shown, not playing very, very well, that they're getting a result. And that's sometimes what champions are made of.
So John Russell, who was driving forward, he was trying to feed Gannon. Cherry has to clear. Mulvena with the knockdown. Forward by Rossiter. This is Richie Towell, away from a rather tired and lazy challenge from Kenny Brown, and the effort from distance from Towell sails over the crossbar. Liam Buckley absolutely delighted. And here's the 2 goals that have really given Pats the platform perhaps for the league title.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a brilliant ball by Jared Bryan, Chris Forrester. But as I said before, the marking was just absolutely shocking. Second goal, it's just a brilliant touch by Daryl Kavanagh, and the finish is just top drawer. I mean, you don't get much better than that. And absolutely 2 great goals to win a game.
And who knows, perhaps to win a league title. But of course, you have to enter the caveat. So much still to be played for by both these sides. And of course, with Sligo Rovers winning at the Belfield Bowl, they will feel they're still not quite out of it. Mind you, they were perhaps hoping for a draw here tonight. Well, Pat, as ever, I'm sure plenty of contenders for the Airtricity Man of the Match. The big call to be made by yourself. Who have you gone for?
Look, for me, there's only been one man tonight. I mean, you know, there's been an awful lot of players, but it's Daryl Kavanagh. He's on the bench now, but he's been outstanding in the first half, and his second half goal was just top drawer. I mean, I gave him a little bit of stick earlier on by saying he doesn't score enough of goals for his game, but he's made me eat my words tonight with an absolute stunner, and well done to him. So my Airtricity Man of the Match, and congratulations to him, Daryl Kavanagh. Outstanding performance.
Yep, Daryl Kavanagh's second league goal, really putting Pats in the box seat here. Forrester appealing in vain, and Dundalk attempting to clear it up towards halfway. Conor Kenna got a touch to it. Well, the Pats fans in tremendous form right now, and the local hostelries, I'm sure, will be busy tonight. They can't celebrate the title just yet, that's for sure. Birmingham. Flood's layoff for Birmingham, the left back. This is Ger O'Brien. Into stoppage time at the end of 90 minutes at Richmond Park. It's been fast and furious at times, but it's Pats who are zoning in now on all 3 points. Russell. John Russell turning away from trouble. He gets a shot in. That's straight at Cherry, who was in a good position to make the save. plenty of power in it from John Russell, but it was an easy save.
Absolutely, and again they've backed off. You see, look, they're backing off. There's no one challenging the ball, and they're giving them chances to have a smack, and you can't be doing that. So I mean, the bottom line going forward is Stephen Kenny will take his Dundalk team home. They will sit down, they will look at this. Okay, they'll be disappointed. Season's not over. So just regrip, have a look at everything, and say to yourself, we can still win this.
Here's Jake Kelly, faced by Rossiter, forced to check back. Birmingham has Killian Brennan available. Russell turning away from Towell. And Ger O'Brien. And Dundalk ending with 10 men, and really Pat's pulling them this way and that at the moment. A heavy touch from John Russell. Ger O'Brien nipping in and sending it long out towards this near side. Rossiter at full stretch, did well to get it under control, and then heads the ball out of play. Jake Kelly. Birmingham. Brennan. And Kelly driving forward. A chance perhaps for Jake Kelly to go it alone. Well, it was a parting of the seas there as Kelly advanced. Out forward by Andy Boyle. This is Vinnie Farty. Looking for Towell, and John Russell went sliding in. Gartland. Now Rossiter. Mulvena allows it to run, and Conor Kenna is there to clear it away for St. Pat's. Jake Kelly, very little on for him, so he's forced to check back. Killian Brennan.
I think the biggest thing, Adrian, from a Pat side of things, is our fans are singing we're on top of the league. I mean, the biggest thing for them now is they need to go on from this. They need to show a bit more character going forward and say, right, we've got 5 games to go, and we are now leading, not following anybody in the league. So we know we've got to go on and drive on and win this, and win it in style.
Forward from Kenny Brown. Forrester. Now Kelly. And back with Birmingham. Towell closing in on him. Flood trying to get the measure here of Gartland. And Rossiter worked it back to Andy Boyle. It is going to be a big setback this for Dundalk. Pats closing in on the precious 3 points on offer here at Richmond Park tonight. And Dundalk have gifted possession back to Sean Gannon. And the red wave advances now. It's Killian Brennan who accelerates forward. Birmingham with Jake Kelly on this left-hand side, but Birmingham fancies having a crack at goal, and Peter Cherry rather dramatically goes to ground. The ball was always going veering off and wide, but he tried to get down and make the save. In the end, he only succeeded in helping it behind for a corner kick.
I just think that's just summed up the night really there, Adrian, in the whole nutshell. You know, I mean, Dundalk have given everything in the first half, tried their best in a lot of areas, and just got outdone, as we say, by 2 goals. Cherry has the things, ball's going wide, tries to make a save, no one on him, goes out for a corner kick, sums it all up.
Well, Forrester to take the corner kick, John Russell beside him. Referee checks the watch, he blows the full-time whistle. St. Patrick's Athletic take a significant step towards the league title. Not there yet. 5 games to go, and who knows, perhaps a few twists and turns to come. But it is a massive win for Liam Buckley's St. Pat's. They are in pole position. Dundalk's cause tonight not helped by the late dismissal of Stephen O'Donnell, but goals from Chris Forrester and man of the match Daryl Kavanagh means that it's ended here at Richmond Park in victory for St. Pat's. St. Pat's 2, Dundalk 0.